Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening now. And welcome back for season 2 of Triumphant Trauma Tales. This season, I'm going to be continuing to share the stories, the triumphs, and primarily focusing on the healing of our various guests. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Today, I want to share with you more about my own journey and not only the reasons into which I became the professional that I am today, but also just to light you up and inspire you so that no matter what you've been through or where you came from, that you choose not only to just keep trudging along, but that you finally begin to choose healing in moving forward. As most of you know, I didn't have it easy. My entire second book talks about the narrative that I share with so many other individuals who experience sexual abuse as a very young child, segue into hypersexuality and underage sex work, which led into a stint of alcoholism and addiction to alcohol for me personally. But where I changed the narrative was where I chose healing, where I chose to trudge forward and find a path to the life I have now, where I wake up in the morning and I'm filled with joy and excitement to not only live my life as I need to, but to hold others' hands in their own respective healing journeys as they work through cyclical trauma, generational abuse, and whatever else may be at hand, as we pave their path forward in finding the tools that work best for them as an individual in their own mental health toolbox. I chose the holistic path forward because, yes, with a background in the front lines and working with high risk youth at the beginning of my career, I saw so many gaps in the system. And I kept seeing people fall through the cracks because they didn't want to just be a medicated zombie for the rest of your life. And don't get me wrong, medication is incredibly important when you need it. But the problem or the downsides to medications for our mental health is that once our brains and our bodies acclimate to the drug, you often have to start all over in finding a new one to help you best manage the symptoms moving forward, therefore setting you back from I'm managing this and I'm okay to oh my gosh, all my symptoms are back and I don't have control. This is why we actually do the work, folks. It's so that you have a tool for your anxiety. Yeah, well, actually, so that you have several tools for your anxiety, several tools for your depression, several tools for your PTSD and the flashbacks and the overwhelm. Is so that no matter what comes up in your day to day, you can get through it. And I personally, in my business, I chose a coaching model because I'm here for the hand holding. When a client reaches out and says, hey, I forgot the tool that we worked on last week. Can you help me? I'm really overwhelmed or I'm having a panic attack. I respond as fast as I can to just remind them of the tool, even if I have to sit there and record a voice note in how to do a complete walkthrough of the tool, giving them a guided implementation right there in the moment so that between sessions, if something comes up the next day or on the weekends, they can still reach out and they don't have to wait an entire week before they see me again so that their healing can continue to move forward without the panic and overwhelm of not knowing what to do in a present moment if something arises. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up here because I'm incredibly passionate about this work. I've dedicated my life to this because I will never forget the years of my life where I was so scared of my trauma that I was afraid to get out of bed, or I was afraid to leave my little safety bubble of my day-to-day life. I was afraid to break routine because I was afraid that my abuser might come back or find me and I would have to relive those very traumatic events. But in choosing a healing path forward, I've created not only this life for myself, but I've taken my background working with high risk individuals and my training in holistics and indigenous medicine to look at each pillar of our life as we pave our path forward from healing from our trauma. And that right there, folks, is why last year I authored my new bestseller, Becoming Blissful, the Bliss Method Recovery Workbook. Not only do I talk about the healing process and the general stages of healing, but I also dive into the roller coasters of emotions you're going to have towards yourself, your past selves, and the events and the people involved as you work through your healing process. We're, we're going to dive into the healing journey of all of those parts of yourself. But the real kicker with this one is after I explain the healing process and I explain the different emotions and how you may experience them throughout this process, I give you more than a handful of self starter tools so that you can begin this work even before you're ready to sit one to one virtually or in person with a professional like myself and actually dive into the work. Because you're allowed to start dealing with the surface level stuff. It is actually possible to work through lots of this on your own. Well, the harder, the most uncomfortable of the emotions and experiences that lay in your past, you may, well, honestly, you probably will appreciate having someone there to metaphorically hold your hand and guide you through it. Because those of us that are dedicated to this work have made it our lives' missions to help people heal and move forward. And it's an honor to be able to sit here and go, I have the privilege to help people reclaim their lives, to find health and happiness and joy again, and really find the systems and the tools that work for themselves so that they can be the healthiest, most joyous, and most successful versions of themselves, possibly for the first time ever. But I wrote this book because, if I remember correctly, the book itself, even though the value is much higher, it is $14.99 USD on Amazon. So that your physical copy with the lined pages and exercises at the back can be purchased, and you can begin this journey before you're ready to share the most painful experiences that you've lived through out loud. And honestly, part of me wrote this book is because I myself and so many of the clients that I have helped up until this point would have loved to have a tool to start out with before you're sitting across from someone, tearing up, exploring the deepest pain in your heart and soul, to have been able to have started to work with it and find safety in yourself before I got to that point personally would have made the healing process a little bit smoother and easier moving forward. If you're interested in my new book, Becoming Blissful, I would love that you checked it out at the link in the description, or she is available on Amazon, Becoming Blissful, the Bliss Method Recovery Workbook by myself, Reese Sabatini-Blake. But if you are not ready or that doesn't interest you, there's no sweat. I'm never going to sit here and hard sell you, because how you choose to heal, whether that's a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatrist or a life coach or a trauma coach or a combination of any or all of the above, that is for you to choose, not for me to dictate. Those who are ready to work with me through the Bliss Method and be guided to light through my help will always work with me. And those that do often tell me that it was through my other books, Paralysis Beating the Odds and Paralysis 2, Hot Takes and Self-Empowerment, that I wrote under my pen name of Addison DeMarco, that led them to choosing me as their holistic trauma recovery coach, because they know that life forced me to become a warrior and that I can guide them no matter what they have experienced. If that's what you're looking for, then find me on social media at Trauma to Bliss or traumatobliss.ca, where you can learn about services, you can find out and reach out to me, and if any of those programs are not the right duration or do not fit your needs, I am always happy to customize something. But ultimately, your healing journey isn't about me, regardless of your gender, your sexuality, your age, your race. That's about you. And I would be honored to support you through that journey. But I'm also happy to point you in the right direction if you're looking for something that is a little less me, because I also understand that who we choose to heal with is just as important as the tools that we learn in that process. I hope that this is the year that you finally choose healing, no matter who you work with, no matter the modalities you want to learn or the tools you would like to implement. I hope that this is the year that you finally choose healing, because there is so much more to life. I now have a career I love. I have a partner that I wholeheartedly adore. And everything is truly becoming a reality with my wildest dreams. So please don't give up. And please, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, please choose healing. And if right now you're struggling and to become grounded so that you can begin to deal with the overwhelm of your current circumstances, then please take a moment to just sit here and breathe with me. Just gently. You don't have to guide it or count it in. Just inhale. And when your lungs and your diaphragm have reached full capacity, let it out as slowly as you feel comfortable. And repeat these breaths as many times as you need to before you can move forward with the task at hand. Because you will get through this. I just need you to not give up. I hope that you will all stick around and come back for our various guests that I have lined up this season, because this is going to be a season of impact. And as soon as we have the episodes, I will release them weekly moving forward. And I hope that no matter what you're going through, that myself and our lovely guests can inspire you to take that first step in beginning your healing journey. I wish you all the best. Bye for now.